The following podcast has been rated Listener MA. It contains strong language, violence, adult situations, nudity. Listener discretion is advised.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Unfiltered Sportscast. I'm your host. My name is Scotty Jeremy, Scottage Cheese, I guess, a.k.a.
Yeah.
And as usual, we have a very good stand-up comedian from here in the Wichita area. He is the 1984 Kingman County T-Ball Defensive Player of the Year award winner, Mr. Jeremy Joseph.
What's up, Scottish Cheese?
What's up, dude? How you doing?
Doing great, and you?
Man, we're doing a Christmas episode. This is a little bit of a special occasion.
This is an unprecedented Saturday recording, Saturday afternoon.
Where we have two guests.
Two guests.
Two guests.
That's how Derek's not here today, so it
he
took
sends
two
his
people
best
to fill in. Actually, he told me he sends his worst. He
is that right?
Doesn't care about either of these guys, and he kind of hopes both of them get hit by a truck because they don't like our podcast. So,
well, first we're going to introduce these guys. We'll start off with the guy sitting next to you. He is the vice president and assistant general manager of Wichita Wind Surge, Mr. Bob Moulette. How's it going, Bob?
It's going.
It's going?
Yeah.
And then we have the general manager himself, who we thought we would never get on this show because he's flaky as can all get out, Mr. Jarred Forma. How's it going, buddy?
I am doing great, and I don't know how you found me. I've been ducking you for months.
Yes, he has. That's definitely true. So it's been a radical couple of weeks, man. This has been a huge thing for the Wichita area. This entire logo unveil, which we'll get to here in a little bit because I wanted to talk about that because I was lucky enough to be a part of it. But over the last couple of weeks, and for those of you guys who have seen us do this show before, this is going to be a PG show. I would say it's pretty easy to say. We got to keep these guys' images in our best interest.
We're putting the filter on this one.
Yeah, we are putting the filter on this
we
one.
Can push
Sorry.
it to PG-13.
PG-13? Okay, we'll go with that.
I can come back another time for the
Okay,
R and
yeah, we'll do that.
We just won't tell anybody who you are or that you're affiliated with the team.
That's exactly right.
I did grow up in New Jersey, so this is going to be hard to keep it PG.
I would say
that is the goal.
We could put like a disguised glasses and mustache on you, but that's already been done apparently. So you're going to have to shave and put in contacts.
There you go. But in all seriousness, this is the Christmas episode. It's a Christmas special, so this is for those folks that are actually traveling, because it's going to be Christmas Eve. But anyways, before we get into all of the stuff, the store, the stadium, I did want to go over the unveil because now there's been kind of a settling period. It's been how many weeks since the unveil?
I mean, a little over a month.
Yeah, so about four and a half, something like that. And that was one of the best experiences I've had living here in Wichita because we actually got to go. Myself, Derek, and Jeremy were able to go to the unveil, and I got to be a part of it, stand up on a platform and do the live video feed and get pushed around by Wichita's finest news networks.
Journalists.
So they could get all of the, their best shots and stuff like that. I'm up with a really cheap tripod and an iPad getting pushed around, and
they got $300,000 cameras. Yeah, Scotty's up there with his tablet.
And it was, but it was an excellent experience. So how was that night for all of you guys? I mean, whenever the logo came out, the name came out, was it a huge relief off of your guys' shoulders? I'll go with Bob first.
There you go.
Oh yeah,
Bob.
I think just having to try to keep a secret for as long as we had to keep the secret.
Oh yeah,
we were in trailer 1 and trailer 2.
Can you maybe lean into the mic a little?
Yeah,
I'm not. There we go.
And I think the thing is, anything like that's difficult. You want to be excited and you want to share with people, but I really think that night was just a tremendous relief for us to get it out of there. I don't have to worry about people coming into the trailer now and like making sure that my computer's shut off because people can be looking at stuff. But
are you really gonna be the River Riders?
Yeah, right. Exactly. It was a really good night. I think it was a really great preview. And you guys were both there to see the entertainment aspect of it. That was just a little preview of what you can expect at this building April 14th in 2020.
The positive energy, just at the fact that when really didn't even have anything to do with the name. Just the fact that we're getting affiliated baseball back in Wichita.
Yeah.
The positive energy. I mean, that was met with such overwhelming. There was a lot of people there. And
That place was packed.
They went nuts. According to MLB.com, standing room only in a place where they didn't put out chairs.
Yeah.
So we're good marketers.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But no, I would agree with what Bob said. It was such a great night. And,
Yeah.
you know, from having been in Wichita for the past, I don't know, 6 months or so and having moved here, it's just, that's what we hear, that it's love the name, hate the name.
Yeah.
It's going to be a beautiful stadium, affiliated baseball,
Yeah.
great quality, great entertainment. And that's what we're about at the end of the day.
Right.
You know, and it's about entertaining the fans at an affordable price. And we're excited. This community has opened their arms.
Yeah.
And we are just really excited. You know, Bob's being nice. We were probably more worried about our owner spilling the beans on the name than anybody else. So we were all relieved. But, you know, I can't take too much credit. Bob and some of his staff and people put so much time and effort into the name and the unveil that it was tremendous.
Yeah.
To get it over with, but also enjoy the night for what it was.
Yeah.
And it was.
You
it
guys,
was a good night.
You guys look like you guys were having a blast. I'm up there getting pushed around like
Yeah.
I'm a little kid. I mean, I'm 5'7",
Hey,
so it's really
you
easy.
showed him your name tag, though.
I did.
Your polo.
I did. I
That's,
pulled it.
that's
I
what
pulled
we
it
need.
over and was like, "No, man, I'm
Bob,
helping
didn't
out."
we have a budget line item to pay people to push Scotty around?
Yeah, we did. We did. It was in there.
It was actually much higher than any other budget.
Jeremy,
you've
thank
had.
you for that donation.
Absolutely. $20,000 well spent.
The best part about it was, you know, a couple weeks before we got like a timeline of everything we're doing, and there's this Scotty name on the timeline of all these things going on. So everyone's like, "Who the heck is Scotty?" I was like, "Don't worry about it. He's taking care of everything for us. We're good to go."
People thought we hired a new worker.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, Lori was like,
Maybe
hey,
that was going to be the new name, the Wichita Scotties.
Yeah.
Maybe you could have had Scotty dogs
Yeah. No.
running around.
No. I don't want to get into that. But anyways, I do have to say this. I have never been so nervous that day in my entire life.
Yeah.
And at that point, because I was a part of it, I already knew what the name, I already knew the logo, all that stuff. But I was so nervous because if anybody that was not employed by the team screwed up, there was only one guy that could do that, and that was me. So if I screwed up, I would have felt absolutely terrible. So I get there like 3 hours before I'm supposed to be there. I have the sound guy check my audio feed probably 4 or 5 times before the show goes on.
Yeah.
I was so nervous just so I
I thought you
wouldn't
were the
screw
sound
up.
guy.
I was the guy responsible
on
for
the
the
show.
Facebook
Yeah.
Live.
Bob,
That was
didn't we
it.
have sound issues right up until about 6
we
o'clock
did.
that
Yeah.
night?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember I had to go up and talk to him. We wanted to play the video from the 2 TV screens and the main one, and apparently they hadn't used that technology in so long that the connection busted.
Really?
So it wasn't working, and we're like 20 minutes away
God.
from opening the doors, and everything was good. And keep in mind, too, this is the first time that any minor league team has done a unveil where we've actually synced the audio to the Facebook Live feed. They normally just do it in like 100 yards away. You can barely hear. You can't hear. So it was a very clean feed. And, you know, just based on all the kind of background and all the research that we've done is, you know, people will leave a poor visual scene, but they'll stay if the audio is good. If the audio is not good, it doesn't matter how great the visual is.
Right.
If they can't hear. So that was a testament to you doing that. I mean, I know like the major. I mean, we had every major news station there was.
Oh yeah, there was a platform, and I don't even know how long that platform was, but I think within reasonable, you know, people size, probably maybe 4 people should have been up on that platform. There was like 8 or 9 of us that were up there. So
welcome to minor league baseball.
There you go. It was a blast. But
Okay, now let me ask you guys this. Okay, the name Wind Surge.
Yep.
Were you guys serious about that?
No, we're actually switching it March
Okay,
1st.
I didn't know. I didn't know if you guys were set on that, or if maybe there's a chance.
So we
of
did like a
something else.
co-op program. So we basically bought all these, and if no one buys them, then we just send them back to the.
Send them to
manufacturer.
third world countries, like what they do with the losing team Super Bowl
Yeah,
stuff.
there you go.
No, we are dead set on Wind Surge.
Okay, all right.
It's, we are the Surge for life here in Wichita.
Fantastic. Well, you know, the Wranglers, for the first 2 years of their existence, they were the pilots.
yeah,
That's
And
right.
then they changed.
Yeah.
So I didn't know how
Sound-
set you were on that.
Sounds
I
like you're a
mean,
big fan of the name so far, though.
I've made my thoughts clear on it. You know what? It's the least important thing to me. I am so much more just stoked about that there is baseball coming, and I am really stoked about that. Is a gorgeous stadium across the street. That is an absolute gem.
Absolutely.
And you guys got to come back out.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, we'll go back out there.
And again, that's what it really is about at the end of the day. It's about the product we put out day in, day out, the facilities, the cleanliness, the affordability, names. People dislike names at first, pretty much across the nation.
That's
kind of
like a minor. That's
right.
a minor league kind of tradition. In all seriousness,
You could have come up with the greatest name in history, and there were people just waiting for you to put it up on the tee so they could just blast it. I mean,
Bob's sick of me hearing me say this, but like if I told you there was no team in Boston, Massachusetts right now, right? And we're going to start a Major League Baseball team, and we're going to call it the Red Sox and spell Sox with an X.
Yeah.
People would flip out. That's the dumbest name of all time, right? And it's one of the most historic names of all time.
Yeah.
There are 3 teams in the major leagues named after hosiery.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is,
Is that on? People could tweet in the answers to that question. There?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. You can message us for what it's worth.
Because the Reds were originally the Red Stockings.
They were. That was actually the first team in Major League Baseball was the Red Stockings.
And then Boston, in a brilliant surge of originality, went with Red Sox instead of Stockings, and really just kicked it up.
We do believe at the end of the day the name will stand the test of time here in Wichita. We're not about it for 1 year.
Yeah.
We're here for 20, 30 years.
Yes.
I was going to say.
Yes.
Will it be the Surge one day? Maybe not the Wind Surge. Sure. I'm going to the Surge game tonight.
Yeah.
We think it's going to be fun and a really good time, and the name's just going to be a little part of all
We're
of
in a
what
very interesting era of team names right now. Everything is wacky as you can get, and I mean, you're coming from a guy who came from the Baby Cakes.
Yeah.
And Baby
Love
Cakes
that
is
name.
Probably,
Love it.
Probably one of the crazier ones, but since then everyone has been trying to kind of top that. It's like art, right? There's like a time in art where this was the great type of photography that we did, and this generation's this. It's no different than the team name stuff, right?
Yeah.
And
So you're the Andy Warhol of minor league baseball. That's what you're considering.
That was impressive.
Thank you. Thank you.
He's a cultured guy. I didn't
I'm
know
very
that.
cultured. I know a lot about everything other than baseball. Actually, that's where my expertise lies, in everything other than sports.
And that's why you guys got to meet him. Todd Radom, who did.
Oh God,
you
yeah.
guys done so much stuff, and everything that he's done has stood the test of time.
This is the logo designer?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, right. I mean, he wasn't allowed to talk about it until it was done, but he redid all the Astros stuff.
Yep.
He was responsible for the Nationals brand
and the Reds' 50-year anniversary, I think,
He
or
does a
100-year
lot of
anniversary. I think.
MLB, NFL patches for the anniversaries, a lot of Yankees stuff.
Did he design that Astros outfield camera?
No, he did not.
That wasn't him? Okay.
No, that was not him. But the other one was that he did also the Big Three, that basketball 3-on-3 guys that used to be good in the NBA. That
He's
fell
literally
off.
got Ice Cube's name
in his phone.
iPhone as Cube.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
He's on
So
that
he
level.
shortened it.
He's already shortened that one.
So he was counting on this being Surge,
Yeah,
based on his experience with Ice Cube.
Absolutely.
He knew Wichita State was the Wheat Shockers at some point, right?
Yeah,
and
that's
then
true,
Again, it's
that's
just the
true.
Shockers. So names will evolve and take shape. But
Absolutely.
We think we got it roughly correct.
Sure.
And, the public, even people, we talk to a lot of people, or try to, every time they come in here in the team store. And the unanimous reaction seems to be, I didn't love it at first. And it's grown on me rather quickly. And that, we think it's going to continue to grow on people. And come April 14th, when they come in that gorgeous stadium across the street, I think it's gonna be nothing but okay. This is what Wichita needed, and we love it.
Yeah. And the cool thing about being able to do this podcast on a regular basis, you get to meet people. And whenever we had Bob on for the very first time, he talked a little bit about the structure of the minor league system and how it kind of works with the organizations and all this other stuff. But if that would never have happened, me and him joke around all the time. It's just like, if that wouldn't have happened, we never would have got to meet Jarred. We never would have got to meet Jay, or Lou, or even Annie.
So is this a good or bad thing?
It's definitely a good thing.
Yeah.
It's definitely a good thing. You guys just get me into trouble all the time. Other than that, but no, it's a really awesome thing, because then we've been able to experience. We did get to take a tour at the baseball stadium, and this was before they poured the concourse. This was right at the kind of the beginning stages of that
They were
stadium.
just literally doing the top
Yeah. And they didn't even have stairs up. I don't know if they've got scaffolding still up there now.
Stairs now.
They got stairs now.
There's no scaffolding anymore.
So it's not sketchy walking
that
up to the
wasn't a
set.
permanent thing. I thought that was going to be just how you left it.
That's part of the entertainment. We actually charge you $2 to do those stairs.
Yeah, gotcha.
No,
if you can make it up, then you get in the next game free. Yeah. If you don't fall off those rickety stairs.
Yeah. I will say, even though I'm only about 22 years old, I've been doing this baseball thing for 20 plus years.
Sure.
This stadium is something, again, I've been worked at 3 or 4 different stadiums, and this is something I've never seen before. It is state of the art. It will easily be.
Come on back, man.
Bob's helping customers right now shop, and so this is tremendous.
Absolutely.
So let me scooch in here so we can pick out the right hat.
It's amazing that this is what the vice president of the team does. He sells clothes.
That's right.
No, for what it's worth, we are actually at the Wichita Wind Surge store, which the address is
608 West Texas Avenue. Not to be confused with Street, because Google's got it all messed up.
Okay, that makes
my bad.
Yeah, that makes sense. If you put Texas Street on it, will that take you down like by a school or something?
Church.
Okay, that's what happened the first time I came here. I was just like, I don't know where the hell
honestly,
this place
we
is.
could all use the Lord a little more. But let's get to church, then let's buy some gear.
Yeah, but if you get a chance while you're listening to this, obviously it's during Christmas holiday, but come out and check out all of the stuff. The other thing is you can go online and buy merchandise on there, which the website for that is?
Yeah, it's windsurge.com/shop.
Yeah.
If you are local, you can actually do pickup.
Cool.
So you can essentially get everything that's in the store and just come pick it up. You already bypass all the lines.
Yeah.
I mean, we're just as high tech as Walmart and Target now. I mean,
well, look at that.
Yeah,
Walmart and Target.
Yes.
You hear that? They're higher class than Walmart, folks.
No, like some of the gear here is pretty state of the art. I'm sorry. Were you going to say something?
No, I'm just I purposely do not want to respond to the comment.
But they've got a lot of cool stuff here. You should come check them out, or check them out online, see all the cool stuff that you can get. But if you do get a chance, check them out. But anyways, I wanted to get back to this stadium. When you talk about things with the stadium, can you tell us some of the things that are going to be different, especially within minor league teams? Because we're coming, me and Jeremy, been from Wichita our entire lives. We're coming from Lawrence Dumont Stadium, and we know now how much of a heap that was, as a nice way of saying it, because apparently it wasn't very, very hard to tear down. It kind of tore itself down.
You could have pushed it over.
Yeah.
It didn't have any rebar in it.
At its time, it was state of the art.
Yeah.
It's 85. Look, it's 85-year-old ballpark, as any ballpark would be, and it had like its charm, just like anything. And there's a few things actually in this ballpark that is going to be very reminiscent of that. But it's kind of crazy, and I'll let Jarred kind of get more into it. The amount of thought that has really gone into everything in this ballpark, from how it faces when the sun's going to set, to the acoustics, to the seating space. Like, it's just something that's totally different. I mean, if we can have a bad day in trailer 1 or trailer 2, we walk out to that ballpark and we're reminded by how remarkable this thing is. And I don't think people realize this is a design build, right?
Yeah.
Most places you have, I think, as Tom Tingle would say, 18 months. They design it and you go build it. This is literally, they're designing and building concurrently at the same time, so that like when something isn't right, they can go ahead and make the adjustments while they're doing it. Where
That's cool.
They find out down the road, oh wait, we already built all this and spent all this money, we're gonna have to get around it, so they can do that.
That's cool.
And Tom Tingle's with DLR Group, one of the architects. We have 2 architect companies, DLR Group out of Kansas City, and then locally Schaefer Johnson, something. SJCF. I always forget the other. I apologize to the other 2 names. And so before I get into answering your question a little, that just made me think of something. Anything we're doing, we try to keep locally. And that's been so important through this entire build. So we have J.E. Dunn out of Kansas City as one of the construction companies, but we also have EB Construction right here. The grass, which got put down on the field, I don't know, 3-4 weeks ago. The grass was grown 20 minutes from here at the local sod shop. We just bought washers and dryers. We did that 3 blocks away at Commercial Laundry Service. So anything we can do that's part of this stadium, first and foremost, it's important to us and the team and the ownership that we keep it local. And that's been a commitment which has been fun to come to fruition. Back to the stadium, the top priority is the fan experience.
Yeah.
Period. End of story. So some unique things for us. We're gonna have some of the widest seats in all of minor league baseball, all the sports.
That's
certainly
a big thing
locally.
To me. I got a wide backside.
Yeah. Someone with the team, someone with the ownership group came to the unveil. They walked in trailer 2, as Bob calls them, trailer 1 and trailer 2, where we work out of them. No
you guys
hello.
are like Walmart.
No hello to me, no nothing. He just patted my stomach and says, "Wichita's been good to you, huh?" And he's not lying. The food here is phenomenal. A lot of breweries, it's been a fun place. But we want wide seats. We want extra leg room. We want a comfortable seating experience. We have some of the widest concourses, not just in all of minor league baseball, in all of pretty much stadiums going right now. And we want everything to flow nicely. We want people to be comfortable. We get what baseball is in the year 2020. Very few people go sit in their seat for 9 straight innings. Right?
Yeah.
When you are sitting there, you want to be comfortable, but then you want to be able to walk around the concourse. The stadium's 360, right?
Yeah.
You never have to stop walking around. You don't get to one foul pole at the end of a seating ball and have to turn around. You could keep walking. My favorite area is the outfield. I would hang out in the outfield probably all game. We're building a left field bar, which is an ode to the Wichita brewery scene. We'll serve, kind of think Central Standard with the garage doors and just a relaxed feel. But we'll serve, we'll probably have a River City Brewing, a Norton's, et cetera. We'll probably have a draft of each one of the local breweries in there. There's just so many different areas in this stadium that there is truly something for everyone. And the most important thing is we went one seating section. Everything down in our seating bowl is one price with the same 21 or 22-inch wide seat. You buy it 24 hours in advance of the game, it's $15. I think from looking at going to Intrust, going to Coke Arena, just the zoo, the movies, etc. We're as affordable as it will come in Wichita, and that is something we will stick with for the next 20 years. That is the most important thing.
Yeah.
How many is it going to seat?
All in all, about 10,000 plus. The
Okay.
seating bowl is a little over 6,000. You had the suites and a Fidelity Club, the Miller Lite Party Deck, an Emprise Pavilion out in right field. The whole outfield, we have 2 or 3, I think 3, but 2 of the berms are enormous, which is like an old school General Mission type feel.
That's $10 for an adult and $8 for
Thank
a kid.
you, Bob.
You get restless kids, that's the best place.
Yeah.
No joke.
They're going to be rolling down there all game.
Let them run up and, we joke in minor league baseball, we're the babysitter, but we are. Bring your family out, and, it's a safe environment. Cleanliness, clean building, that's so important. We kind of watch your kids for you, the natural, flow of the way the stadium works. And there's just
You don't want to tell people that. They'll take that literally.
We'll have a kid area out in center field with a couple inflatables and bounce houses and a Papa Shot and I don't know, pick your favorite game, Scotty.
Sure.
We'll buy it for you.
I want to be able to see how hard I throw. Apparently, if you end up hitting 98, you end up getting a contract with the major league team eventually.
Oh, that was all staged. I looked at
was that from like?
That's a movie.
Was that like a Bull Durham? What movie you going back to
the
these
rookie.
days?
No, the rookie. But at the same time, this last year there was a guy that was at a baseball game and he was on the gun and he threw a ball and it was like 98 mile an hour.
Little do you know he was already signed.
Oh, was he?
And it was all the hype.
Oh, I got you.
And I don't want to get
I didn't know
mean, but
that.
if you could throw 98, let us know. We'll sign you up.
I'll need one hell of a crow hop and I still won't hit it.
No, I was always flabbergasted any time that I would throw, because I played some upper level ball, and I always thought for sure, 80, I can throw 80 for sure. I think I'm 65.
No, you throw harder than that.
In any carnival I was ever at where they have I know those things are fixed, but like 68 or 69 was about as fast as I ever got.
Did you throw harder if Scotty's face is the target?
Oh, without a doubt, 100%. I could probably throw about 120.
But yeah.
But no, an 80-mile-an-hour ball, a lot of people don't realize. Go step in a batting cage with an 80-mile-an-hour ball. See how slow that is.
Oh, yeah.
And then put a two-seamer on that and let it move a little bit and then try to hit it.
My favorite comment over the years, Bob, you've heard this working in baseball. You talk to a fan or more so like family or friends, right? Oh, I could hit one out. So first of all, let me give you a wood bat. You're not hitting anything, right? Like it's these guys are professionals for a reason, and that's one of the exciting things about the team that's going to come to Wichita. Is, I actually worked in Wilmington, Delaware for 14, 15 years, high A affiliate of the Kansas City Royals. Then I was in Florida at a spring training place, but at a high A level as well during the summer. These are AAA guys. These are basically
they're one step away.
They're either guys one step away, or they just came back for a few weeks until they get recalled. And what we're going to see here, the talent level is amazing. And we are a Marlins affiliate, and if any of your listeners are big baseball fans, I don't think we don't have to sugarcoat it. The Marlins haven't been the best baseball team the last 3 or 4 years, but what they have done is very similar to my experience being with the Royals affiliate. Yeah, they have loaded up their minor league system with top prospects, and just like in Wilmington, Delaware, we saw Johnny Damon, Jermaine Dye, Moustakas, Hosmer, Sally Perez, Greinke, etc. The guys that are about to come through here on Wichita are going to be legitimate superstars in Major League Baseball. It's going to be fun for this community to get to know them.
When you're not a very good Major League team, you get a lot of early draft picks.
Yeah.
And so there's going to be a lot of those guys coming through, and that's going to be really neat to see. Now, and Miami is not exactly a small market team, so they can buy some better prospects, trade for some good prospects too that are going to be coming through here, and I'm really excited about that.
Take out the camera situation and think about the Houston Astros and what they had to do and the amount of years they spent being bad, really. But then look what it equated to Altuve and Correa and all those guys. So actually, we think that's what we're going to see here.
Sure, but while we're on that subject, take a break from the Wind Surge stuff. I have a question, especially from you guys, because we've kind of talked about this on our show a little bit. But so what do you think happens? And the way we were talking about it on our show was the last time that I can remember that there was actual cheating going on, that during a game, or it was speculated or allegedly somebody was cheating, that entire team got blackballed from baseball and not allowed to play again, and which was the Black Sox scandal back in however long ago it was.
Yeah, and they weren't cheating to win; they were cheating.
They were cheating to lose.
And Lawrence Dumont wasn't even built yet. Just for the record.
Just for the record.
Now, there's been guys who have been caught, like pitchers with nail files and stuff.
Yeah, and stuff on the ball and everything like that.
There's always different levels of cheating, right? That Black Sox scandal, I think, had more to do with throwing games and gambling.
It was.
And that's the one thing you don't touch in sports. Right. That's what separates us from the arts or wrestling or, it's real. It unfolds in real time. And if you're going to do anything, and, that's probably Pete Rose's still biggest problem. You don't mess with the integrity of the game from that standpoint. All the other, the pine tar,
I have a long rant on the show about it.
Oh no, we're gonna get to it later because
there's obviously different levels.
I'm not sure if you guys will agree. We'll get to that later in the show.
I look forward to it.
But what do you think is going to happen with the Astros? How do you punish something like that? Because the evidence that's coming out now is almost overwhelmingly they definitely did something.
Sure.
And as a baseball-minded people that all four of us are, if you know a fastball's coming in and you're sitting dead red,
and you're that good,
already, it's very, very easy to,
Well, you look at their stats right at home, like their batting average is ridiculous, and in a way they were
they were crap.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you're ever gonna get to a college where we're gonna say, hey, the last 3 years you played are all losses, like a USC type deal.
Sure.
I think you'll see some sort of suspension down. If anyone gets a suspension, it's gonna be the manager, and there's gonna be a fine for the owner. I don't think you can go wholeheartedly and say, hey, all 25 guys. You guys all have to serve these suspensions. It's just not practical. But the manager, he's not an idiot. We all know he knows.
Yeah. Well, they'll probably really get hit is in draft picks and some fines, you know, which, the common fan, such as myself, sitting at home watching them day to day, you don't notice today. It will hurt them down the road when they have to forfeit draft picks and their international signing money that they're allowed to sign free agents with. And there'll be penalties that we just, again, the common fan probably isn't aware of. And, listen, there's a whole part of baseball where it's an art to sign still.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's done legally. I just did air quotes if you can't see it. There's a legal way to bend the rules, and then there's blatant cheating. And, There's a lot smarter people, hopefully, in MLB's front offices than me to figure out how to punish them.
Well, yeah, they pay guys to study video of like pitchers to tell their runners on base, to tell them whether they're going to be thrown over.
Yeah, and they'll tell you that after a game, right? They'll be like, I was tipping my pitches.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Right. And that's okay. Yeah. But I think where the breakdown is that they were using technology, cameras, zooming in on catchers.
Just remember, they weren't the first ones. The Red Sox got caught doing it against the Yankees with an iWatch.
Yeah, okay.
Apple Watch.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think it goes back
to... It's always those Boston people.
They're a bunch of cheaters, aren't they?
But I think it goes back to what Jarred was saying is that, they're not going to reap any benefits off it, whether it is at a high level, but it will be at a draft level or something. It's totally unprecedented at that point in time, how bad the cheating has been. Yeah. And it makes sense. I mean, it makes why they were so good at home. And then
absolutely.
Why they lost. Well, it's kind of the irony of it is they lost every game at home in the World Series. And then won every game away.
But... that was also because that information started coming out before the Nats and the Astros World Series. Yeah. So I think they were changing.
Oh, sure.
They were changing signs. They were making something.
The other thing you never know is what the other teams are doing against the rules versus who gets caught. It's a hard avenue to go down because most teams are probably trying to get a competitive advantage, and where's that actual line that you can cross versus not cross?
Sure.
Right?
Here's what I found the most disturbing of this whole thing is that there was a guy watching on a monitor and then taking a bat and banging on the trash can, right? And they saw the evidence of where the trash can was and the sunflower seeds and stuff. Trash can's right there. Why can't you get the seeds in the trash can?
He just made a mess.
How lazy do you got to be?
It is funny you bring that up. Again, I've been in baseball a few years. I don't want to keep calling myself old on this thing, but why people can't put things in a garbage can if you wear a uniform in baseball is beyond me. You ever see a dugout after a game?
I bet you it's a filth
It's
pile.
like they get fined if they use the garbage can.
Yes.
It's crazy.
That's no joke. And I remember playing in Lawrence Dumont Stadium, and the way that they kind of had it set up as the dugouts kind of had like a drain thing right in front of it, and then it was turf. And right in front of the dugout, right out onto the turf, every single game would just be piles of sunflower seeds and chewing tobacco when we weren't supposed to do it.
There's no way those drains actually work. They had to be clogged.
No, they were clogged to hell.
It's why a lot of stadiums don't sell seeds, right, for the fans, the public, because what are you going to do when your seeds are melted? They go on the floor, and it just is a cleaning nightmare.
With Lawrence Dumont, they used to send somebody around about the 8th inning with trash bags walking down the aisles, and they wanted everybody to pick up the trash.
Or something. Yeah,
and because they used to sell, my favorite thing at the ballpark is peanuts in the shell.
Yeah,
and I always knew not to throw them on the ground because they were going to be coming around, and you knew they weren't going to say anything to you if you had shells on the ground.
But they were going to look at you.
They were going to look at you and show a lot of disappointment in you, kind of like your dad being.
Oh God, that's funny.
I'm disgusted with you.
Yeah. Okay, so, and the other thing I wanted to get into just a little bit, and you don't have to elaborate too much, but the other thing great about this stadium is that it's not just going to be baseball, I've been told, right? There's going to be other things going on. So what kind of ideas do you guys have for that aspect of the stadium?
Yeah, well, we already have 2 high school football games on the docket come the end of the season. I think a lot of things that you see, like a taco fest or any of those types of events, will be at the ballpark. We've been working with WSU.
Yeah.
Now, from a collegiate standpoint, we have to figure out what makes the most sense and what's legal. Like, I guess there's certain games, like league games and stuff, you actually can't have.
Yeah.
Conference games you can't have at a neutral site. You have to do stuff like that. But we're looking to utilize this ballpark 200 times out of the entire year.
Yeah.
So it's going to be events like, if you use your imagination, maybe one day, and I'm not going to say it's happening in 2020 or 2021, but maybe we team up with the Thunder, and the Thunder does an outdoor game at the ballpark. So anything you think of, concerts, those types of things we're going to do. You guys weren't there for it, but the next time we take you out there, we actually have one entrance onto the field, and it's big enough for an 18-wheeler to get onto the field to set up a stage.
Oh, that's cool.
For a major act that we're going to have. So obviously you have stuff at Intrust, and You know, they're owned by Live Nation, so there's certain contracts that they get to keep and we can't have. But, you know, we're going to be able to do other things like that.
Yeah, you know, and as Bob said, you know, literally the field already has in it the foundation for the field goal posts. So now we just have to attach them. Probably a year from now, you will see an ice skating rink out in center field, free to the public, kind of a winter wonderland.
That's cool.
You know, Rockefeller Center style. But
here's what I would like to see done: is I would like to see like the bottom 6 inches of the goalpost still above the ground,
so the players,
have to. Yeah, I would like to see that. That's minor league baseball.
That
right
sounds like what we heard about you. So that sounds about right. You know.
And okay, if there's an entry big enough for an 18-wheeler, another thing you can have there. Hear me out on this: demolition derby. What do you say?
I say you convince our groundskeepers of that one, and we're on board with it.
How much could that really tear up a field?
Hardly
honestly?
anything.
We're working on, from what we've heard, we're working on Nitro Circus.
Oh,
So
dang,
like
that'd
that,
be cool.
like- and those types of things. Like, you can really use that facility for so many things. The kitchens in that place are ridiculous. If there's ever going to be the end of the world scenario, I'm going to the ballpark because we can go underground and we will have plenty of room to live our lives. Like,
I can think of 1 or 2 other places I want to go, but no, Bob's right. You know, we want to use it 200-ish times a year, and there's really big events, big concerts where we could get 18, 20,000 to. You know, up in our club, we could host weddings and graduation parties, and
there's what, 71 home games.
70 home games
70
each
home,
year.
okay.
Yep. You know, and then we're working and talking with the NBC tournament. You know, we know how near and dear that is to Wichita's heart, and we're talking with Kevin Jenks and those great folks over there about how, you know, we're never going to be able to do 2 weeks of it. The Pacific Coast League schedule will never allow 14 straight days. But we want to partner with them. Bob talked about some of the festivals. You know, another thing we learned about Wichita is they love their festivals.
Yes, we
right?
do.
Yeah.
You know, we are not looking to steal anyone's festivals, but if someone's looking for a new location, then, you know, they've reached out and we'll talk to them just like we've talked to the great folks at Intrust Arena. We don't want to compete with them. If they're doing a big event on this day, well, let's communicate that so we don't try doing an event and vice versa. There's enough to go around in this awesome city for everyone, and we want to work with everyone. But yeah, there's no event too big or too small that we hope doesn't show up at this beautiful new park one day.
Right. Now you talk about the kitchens that are down there. Vending, from what I understand, is going to be quite substantial. At Lawrence Dumont, there was basically 2 concession stands.
Yeah.
What are we looking at vending wise going to be here?
Well, first of all, we're going to own our own concessions company, so there's no middleman.
Okay.
So you're not going to pay $10 for a Bud Light. You know, it'll be more 6, 7, depending.
$9.75.
Dude, a quarter.
You're funny.
As many beers as I drink, I'll save quite a few.
There is so many concession stands that it's impossible to walk somewhere in the ballpark and not go to a concession stand right there where you are. The only part that's a little different is going to be where the admin building is, and there won't be any concession stands out there. But everywhere else, it's huge.
And when there's not a permanent stand, we'll have portables and other ways to purchase food. You know, and Bob nailed it. We run and operate our own concessions for 2 main reasons. We control the quality then. And anytime you add a third party into anything, what happens? There's another hand that needs to get fed, right? There's another person that you need. By eliminating that, again, it's all about the fan experience, and we want to keep our concession prices, just like we did with our tickets, very affordable. So, no, you know, I've been to a couple events lately around Wichita here, and we won't be charging $9 for a beer. I don't know what we're charging yet, but it'll be in that $6 to $7.50 range. A hot dog will be $2 to $3. You know, it needs to be affordable for everyone.
On average, family of 4 should be able to get in and out of the ballpark for $65.
Solid.
Yes.
I mean, and that's including, you know, your berm ticket. If you do a family of 4, 2 berm tickets and an adult price, and you do 2 kid tickets, you're at $36 in the gate. I mean, I don't know if you can go see a movie
I don't think so.
premiere,
No.
Probably not.
and then you got to go. So no, we understand like where it has to be. We have to make this ballpark accessible to the entire community, and there has to be a way to get in there. Whether we do a reading program where kids are going to get a ticket and come in, and their parents get a discount. We want to make sure everyone has an opportunity to come, and when you come, You know, you're not spending, you know, $200 for a minor league because that's not what it's about.
Right.
The only way we've ever seen it work, in my experience, Bob, I think you would agree, it needs to be the community's ballpark.
Yeah.
It's Wichita's stadium, and that's why we talked about perhaps an ice skating rink that's free to the public to come skate on next year this time. And we'll do plenty of events that we're charging for tickets. And, you know, we are a business that needs to bring in revenue at some point, but there needs to be an equal amount of events that's just open to the community, and it has to be the community's park.
That is right up my alley because you should see me on skates. I am graceful. I am the next Tanya Harding, where I will beat somebody's knee.
I was going to say, I could see you being the Tanya Harding.
I will
not the skating part of Tanya Harding.
I will pay a fat man to come. I will find Jeff Galooly wherever he is, and I will have him beat somebody's knee in.
This could be. We could sell tickets to this event.
Yes, you could.
Probably.
Yes, you could.
This could be another event.
See, we're talking about filling the place, Bob.
I would love to see Scotty out there with skates on, not expecting anything coming.
I had you pegged for the first person he's taken out.
I know.
And then just to see him on the ground going, why?
Oh, man.
Why?
No. I've got a busy schedule coming up, man. I'm going to get taken out on ice skates, and then I'm being thrown over Vorshay's Lounge, their balcony twice. Okay.
Yeah.
I was unaware of that, but that sounds fun to watch.
Apparently, I made a bet that I didn't make or agree to, but Derek apparently is holding me to that particular bet.
One time he's going to have to land on a cornhole board.
I guess.
Okay.
So,
just on the board or in the hall?
No.
Oh. Did you get more points? Like
I think if we can get him, just yell out airmail when you throw him off. Yeah, you get 3 points for that.
Absolutely. Other than that, is there anything else, especially with the community coming together? I mean, you guys briefly talked about how the community is welcoming you into the community. Have you guys gone to go see some Wichita State basketball yet?
No, we went today.
Yeah?
Second. Yeah. We went Intrust last Saturday, and today first Coke Arena experience.
Did you go to a Thunder game at Intrust?
I personally not. Bob has been there.
Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, Wichita State beat VCU today.
That's right.
So that's a big win.
10
That's right.
You know, I'm all in on the Shockers. I think it's great. The atmosphere was great, and you know
that is a weird rivalry. That is an actual rivalry.
It is an actual rivalry,
and it's so weird.
I was trying to figure it out myself.
Yeah.
I was like,
well, VCU is new to the conference. Well, I think everyone's new to the conference. I don't even know what conference it is anymore.
Well, they're in a completely different conference. VCU is in like a colonial area, or right around.
They're still in Colonial Athletic. Okay, so I was wrong today.
But the whole thing is over the past like 5-6 years, they have come into Wichita and beat us twice.
Wow.
We have gone over there, and I think we've beat them once. So it's kind of going back and forth. And the year that they beat us, they went to the tournament, went to the Final Four, and then we beat them, and then we go to the Final Four.
They're similar programs. Mid-majors that both have. They all went the same year.
VCU ended up going too.
VCU, George Mason, and there was one other small. Remember, there was a year where 3 small schools all went to the.
I think it actually was.
There was 3 small schools all in the Final Four that year. It was a weird year.
It was goofy.
You know, but we're trying to get to Wichita State games, some Thunder games. You know, we're trying to integrate ourselves into the community. You know, most of us aren't from here. We weren't born here. We have hired.
The big surprise was we're at the game and we ran into like 10 people there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But we are here. You know, we've committed. Bob's moved here. I've moved here. You know, most of our front office has moved here. Jay, our president. We are here, and what I'm hoping personally, you know, for life. You know, I'm not young, and I hope it's a 20, 30 year. You know, not to be morbid, I hope I die in Wichita.
Yeah.
You know, it's a great city.
It's a nice community.
It's awesome.
But the funny,
I don't want to be taken out by you though.
No, you can't do that. I actually got to give Bob a little credit. I'm hung out with Bob outside or outside of the show and everything, just going out to lunch, and we'll go downtown someplace. Yeah, I know, right? But we'll get into my vehicle, and I'll be driving, and he has to tell me where to turn, where to go, and stuff like that. I've lived here my entire life.
Attention to detail, man.
Oh my God! How do I not know
Bob
how to
drives
get
those
places?
scooters around,
That's
so he knows how to get everywhere.
Yeah, the scooters are fun, man. They're fun.
Especially this time of year. Get that wind blowing in your face.
That wind surge.
Yeah, there you go.
Absolutely.
Yes.
20 degrees
As Greg
below.
Marshall would say, you know, when the wind hits you in the face, you know.
Yeah, that's
it's
right.
a wind surge.
That's right. But okay, so other than the Wind Surge stuff, we wanted to get back into something because we're almost we're not quite at an hour yet, but we're getting close. I wanted to ask you guys this question because I already know where Jeremy sits on this. We were talking about the Astros and stuff like that, but we are kind of known for a particular segment in our show where somebody goes on a rant and it's very inappropriate, but we'll keep this one appropriate. Do you think that Pete Rose belongs in the Hall of Fame? Yes or no? And you can also, interweave the steroid guys too if you would like to. And I'll let Jeremy talk to you about it.
Oh, I mean,
answer the question.
Yeah, you guys. It's your guys' question.
It's complicated, but as a player, hands down.
Hands down, Pete Rose?
As a player.
Okay.
Now, I know he's a player manager, so that's confusing. But, I mean, it's kind of like Barry Bonds, right?
Yeah.
Like, you can sit here and say he took steroids, and he obviously did because his head got bigger and his feet got bigger.
Yeah.
But
You've seen his feet?
yeah, they were huge. But here's the thing: is people forget that when he hit
Like
73
down there.
when he hit 73 home runs that year to break the record,
Right.
he also walked over 100 some odd times.
Yeah, that's true.
So that is incredibly gifted skill that does not require strength. That is a different part of the game. The Pete Rose stuff, the one thing I was very disappointed about was I was an avid Pete Rose should get in the Hall of Fame because he denied it, and he brought up all this stuff. And you guys remember that ESPN where they got Johnny Cochran and someone else to come in and say like he should be in and he's innocent.
The glove don't fit.
Yeah. Then he literally comes out 2 weeks later and goes, "Oh yeah, I lied." And so that's why I was disappointed.
Sure.
But as a player, like you can't take away his hustle. You can't take away any of the stuff that he did as a player. And I think that it's hard to turn that on and off. And I know we just talked about the Black Sox stuff.
Mm-hmm.
As a manager, it's a different story because you know your matchups and you know all that. It's hard for me to say. Like, if it was just a straight player situation, I'd say yes. But he was managing. You know your matchups. I know we're not into all this. We weren't in all the sabermetrics when he was doing it.
Right.
But they know the matchups. He knows the matchups. He knows what he would have to do. So it's tough. I say as a player, yes. As a manager, everything else, no.
Yeah,
Jarred?
I'll contradict myself if you let me rant for a while. And I'm from Jersey,
Go
so I
for
could
it,
probably
buddy.
talk for an hour. But so the Pete Rose one, I guess, obviously, if you judge it as a player, he's very deserving. That one I think is a lot more black and white than the steroid guys. He signed a dot piece of paper that has kept him out of the Hall of Fame, Pete Rose. What I know, I think it was Bart Giamatti was the commissioner at the time, and then he passed away, and whatever their side handshake might have been, Pete Rose literally signed something that said he will never be a Hall of Fame member. So I think that one's easy. No, he shouldn't be. He admitted to, again, it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. There's different levels of cheating, and once you gamble and mess with that kind of integrity of the outcome, there's no coming back. And that's why sports, from recreational drug use to steroids, so all these other kinds of cheating, that's the gambling and throwing and fixing of games that they've never, any sport, not just baseball, they've never wavered on. Because once you mess with that kind of integrity of the game, then you're not a professional sports anymore, and you're more into the wrestling entertainment. So deserving, of course, as a player he is, but no, he physically signed the piece of paper, so I don't feel bad on that one.
Yeah?
Yeah.
The steroid ones, God, I've switched my opinion
We talked about
a
this.
million times over the last 15, 20 years, and I honestly don't even know how I feel if they should or shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame, but I will say this. If you let one in, then I better see Barry Bonds in.
You nailed it.
Because
You nailed it.
If steroids don't count, and I have some strong feelings whether they should or shouldn't, because again, I've been in minor leagues working in it, so I actually have met the guy who didn't do it and never made it, while others who weren't as good did make it when they. But if steroids don't count, I'm 43 years old. I've never seen a better hitter than Barry Bonds in my life.
And
if steroids don't count,
And
so
we've talked about this. We've said that if you were to let people in of that era, it would be Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens. Those are the only two people because their former career before steroids was good enough to get him into the game. Everyone else, you take a McGuire. McGuire was good, but he wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
He wasn't great.
He went the home run hitter until he was
great when he had Canseco hitting protection.
The crazy one that's coming up real soon is A-Rod, obviously, and man, I've never seen someone repair someone's image like J-Lo has done for Mr. A-Rod. But, you know, I feel like he's going to get in for some reason, and that will not sit well with me if he's in and Bonds and Clemens. And, you know, then you get into where's there's proof and there's not proof in this. It's all wrong, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know if I answered any of your questions.
Well, yeah,
I didn't ask any.
I did, but I got to tell you this before we started doing this show, which we're coming up very closely on a year. It's coming, I think, not this episode, but I think it's the following one.
The first week in January.
First week in January will be a year for us doing this show. But
congratulations!
Thank you very much. So one of the very first ones that we did, we have a segment where Jeremy went on a rant on why Pete Rose should not be in the Hall of Fame, and I came to that show knowing we were going to talk about this, and I was very for Pete Rose going into the Hall of Fame, and he changed my mind. He absolutely changed my mind with like a 10-minute rant that was absolutely hysterical. But you go ahead and take the floor, man.
Well, you know, like I've said before, that my opinion of it is not helped by the fact that I find Pete Rose to be the most dislikable human being on the planet. He is a real jerk.
Is it because he still wears flat brim hats?
That has nothing to do with it. I disliked him way before. I used a phrase on our show that I won't use here. But I don't know. Are we going PG-13?
We'll go PG.
I'm quite curious. That doesn't mean say, you know, but I am quite curious.
He wears his a-hole on his sleeve. That's where I stand on him. But okay, it boils down to Major League Baseball Rule 21, Section D, Article 2. Any player, team official, player, manager, team official, or employee who places a wager of any size on a game on which they have a duty to perform shall be banned for life.
Yeah.
And that's, in my opinion, as while his playing career does deserve to be in, I mean, he did everything that he would need to do to be in there and then some. Yeah. I think it does more good having him not in there. That sends a very strong message to everyone that this is, you guys can come back here and look if you want to.
Selling a hat while he's talking.
But, sorry, my bad.
I think that sends a very strong message to other players that, hey, if Pete Rose can't get away with it, don't even try.
And that's what you bring up a good point, especially with the steroid era, right? Mm-hmm. The line was drawn with him.
Right.
Yeah, he didn't do it, he's not getting in. What Jarred's saying is, if A-Rod gets in, then the line is no longer.
But I don't think that opens it up for Pete Rose. I think there's a different level. And what Jeremy just said, there's not a lot that gets posted in every clubhouse, major league, minor league, and front offices. But there is. I'm very impressed with his knowledge. There is a big poster before you walk in any clubhouse, any affiliated baseball building. You may not place bets on or against you in any way, shape, or form, and that's not the real
In 1988, as manager of the Reds, Pete Rose had 4 different meetings with his teams where he explained this rule to them.
It was a requirement.
It was a requirement for him to do. And, you know, if you look, he managed the Reds until 89, and they never made the postseason. And in 90, they won the World Series.
If he was betting on his team and he used these relievers today when he didn't bet on his team tomorrow, he purposely was not using. You know, so I do agree with Bob that at some point the floodgates will be open for steroid guys, but I don't believe that has anything to do with Pete Rose. And I happen to agree with Jeremy that it's clear as day. That is there's a lot of things of lines you shouldn't cross, right? And I'm not getting into good human beings, bad human beings, yada yada. But that is the one thing that's been made clear constantly in professional sports.
Long before he did that.
Long before.
And I agree with pretty much everybody. Whenever which I think, unfortunately, I think it is going to happen. But I think whenever you get one of those steroid guys, that does get in. Which I think the very first one is going to be Barry Bonds or Roger Clemens. You're going to have the floodgates open for all of these other guys.
In that steroid era, those rules were not near as clearly defined.
No. In fact, McGuire was taken was over the counter stuff,
right?
And then literally Bud Selig went into a GNC, and the person working there goes, "I know why you're here," and he's like, "Here, this is what it is." But I think the one thing we have to take into account too is the Hall of Fame. What is the Hall of Fame, right? It is obviously the best players of that generation of the game, but it's also an historical reference to the game. So if you look at it from your standpoint, I agree with you, right? It says no gambling. It said no gambling for centuries. He broke the gambling rule. It wasn't as clear with the steroid era. The problem that you have is if you don't let some of these guys in the game. I mean, you could arguably say that without the McGuire Sosa home run,
dang it, you beat me to it.
Without that race, that game was dead. 94, no one wanted to go. These guys are already getting paid 20 times as much as the average person. Now they want 50 times as much. We're not going to go to the game. Without that home run, the long ball, and that's why the stadiums are what they are now, where, I mean, 325 down the lines, every stadium has one of those, right?
Yeah.
Without that, we might not be sitting here at this point in time.
Correct.
With it. So the Hall of Fame is not just about the greatest players that did it right in their time. Because think about it, right? They said that what's the guy? I can't even think of his name right now. He used to slide head first into second because he literally had a vial of cocaine in his back pocket. And
I didn't know that.
And he made.
I think that was the entire 1986 Mets.
Yeah.
But
Well, and I was going to say, too, they always talked about in the 80s some guys taking those greenies.
Yep.
Yeah.
When
Listen
they'd be
again.
hungover.
Yeah.
That would be so banned today. And, you know, Pete Rose says he never did steroids, but he
again,
took
we're all
those.
talking about different levels of cheating versus gambling and throwing.
Yes.
And messing with the true integrity of the game day to day. And
Baseball is a sacred
right.
institution.
I do agree with Bob, but I think there's a way to tell the story without putting someone in the hall. And I have no doubt. I would bet my life.
Yeah.
Pete Rose, unfortunately, will pass away and then be put in the Hall of Fame.
I agree.
I think we all.
It is a lifetime ban.
Right.
Once you
but
die,
yet,
you can.
something will magically change after he passes away.
Well, his
it's like
lifetime.
Right. Well,
Well, it's like the Hall
It
of
will
Fame
expire.
ballot. It's like the Hall of Fame ballots now, right? If you don't make the original Hall of Fame ballot, now they have a modern era committee that can decide whether you get in it or not.
You
Oh,
know,
yeah, there's
I've
been a
a-
lot of people put in posthumously.
I have my Hall of Fame test always is you give me a player name and you have to answer within 3 seconds, yes or no.
Yeah.
And that's usually how I determine personally
No, that's
Hall
an
of Fame or not,
I-
right?
I-
And
I think it's
no
smart
matter
to do it.
what might be taken into account, steroids or this or that, off the field integrity issue,
There were some guys who got in last year that we didn't think really deserved it.
Oh, yeah.
That I think was kind of a middle finger to
the steroid guys.
Yeah.
Who was the big one? Was it Edgar Martinez?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Martinez. Numbers
He did
numbers
not have
weren't
the
great,
numbers.
but
Had good numbers, not great numbers.
he was he
like
was
a Jack
debatable.
Morris.
That was
Yeah, I mean, 2,500 hits and like
but then
350
again,
home runs. I mean,
what are the qualifications? For some reason, it seems like postseason matters more now than it did in 1940. And
yeah.
like Jack Morris. Well, heck, he pitched that Game 7. The Minnesota.
Yeah.
You look at his numbers, and they even say, like, Schilling's number is actually better than Jack Morris over the career. So then if Jack Morris gets in on this, then Kurt Schilling automatically should get in, right? I mean,
Schilling is not in?
no.
No.
Oh, I thought he got in.
I put.
I think he was actually one of the steroid guys.
For full disclosure, I grew up a big Yankees fan, so this pains me, but I think Pedro Martinez is probably one of the greatest pitchers of all time because of what he did in the so-called steroid era, right? Like, he was so dominant. Does that make him the best pitcher in baseball, or no? Does it just make him a Hall of Fame level pitcher because his numbers were good?
You are on thin ice, my friend. You think Pedro Martinez is the best pitcher, and actually the best pitcher is another Yankee.
Not of all time, but if you
gotta
take in
remember.
steroids into account, who was better?
Hey,
You don't have to be the
Pedro.
best of all time to get in the Hall of Fame.
yeah, but we remember, though, during that
Mariano.
era,
Gotcha, bro.
Pedro's ERA was like 2 runs below everyone else.
I get it, and he pitched 8 innings, and then Mariano would have to come
No.
come in and shut it down.
All right, you're going to get the Yankee fan in me going, Pedro could pitch up to 100 pitches, and then you could hit him.
He had that one season where, like, he had 15 wins before the All-Star break or something. It was just something ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
And then he got the short end of the stick in '94. I think he was on that Expos team dominating it too.
Yeah, they were supposed to
Was
go.
he, or was that a different Martinez?
No, that was it,
Was that
yeah,
him
yeah.
still?
And then, based on everything I've seen in like postseason coverage, he chose to eat Manny Ramirez, and
Boy,
Boy, that guy has ballooned up.
Oh, yes, he sure has.
He looks like me now.
It was the estrogen medicine or whatever Man Ram was taking.
We joked on the show a couple episodes ago, or a few episodes ago, about how hysterical it would be if Salvador Perez and Martinez would have their own freaking commentary show. Like, you couldn't understand a damn thing any one of them said.
Just sit there going, huh? What?
So I had the good fortune again in my Wilmington, Delaware, with the Royals affiliates of meeting Sally Perez. And
no kidding.
One of the nicest human beings in
bet
the
he is.
world.
Oh,
but
amazing.
in probably about a billion conversations with him, I think I understood 3 words. So you're not lying there.
And they'll bring him on as a translator for guys who don't speak English. He doesn't speak English.
Well, we're kind of coming full circle, and I wanted to kind of touch back on something that Bob said earlier. We're talking about this baseball. It's really cool that not only do we have this baseball team that's coming in, but all of us are baseball people. And believe it or not, Wichita is kind of a baseball town. Yeah. Yes, we love college basketball, and we love our Wichita State Shockers, but the NBC World Series, everything that's coming around to Wichita, we are a baseball town in all seriousness. And it's the coolest thing to be able to sit down with guys that are coming in from another city, and if it wouldn't have been all of these things that we just talked about with Martinez and the cheating and all this other stuff, we may not have been in this particular situation that we're in right now.
Of course.
Wichita is going to have a AAA affiliated baseball team for the very first time ever, because when we were the Wranglers, it was just AA affiliate. Yep. So this is the very first time, regardless of anything that you can say about the name, whatever, you don't like it, blah, blah, blah. This is the very first time, and cherish it.
How close are we on time, by the way?
We're on an hour right now.
Okay. Well, never mind then.
Well, no, if you got to stop, we're good.
I
someone's in traffic right now, so they might want an extra 5 minutes.
We certainly try and steer clear of politics on this show, but right now there is some stuff going on where they're wanting to shut down a lot of minor league teams.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to get into real politics, and I was going to have to give you my Michael Jordan line.
That's out of that.
Yeah.
So, who
you voting for?
No.
I vote for anyone who buys baseball tickets in Wichita, Kansas.
There you go.
So, look, at the end of 2020 is the end of the PBA, which is a professional baseball agreement. There's been a lot of speculation that 42 teams are leaving or whatever it is. This happens every time at the end of an agreement. From this standpoint, like there really is, like the way that player development has gone, the way that technology has progressed. Major League Baseball and minor league baseball couldn't be more at odds at this point in time. But, at the end of the day, there could be some minimization as far as, some teams. We won't be affected by it.
Right.
We'll be arguably the 3rd best ballpark in all of the nation when it's all said and done. We'll still keep AAA. And look, I think it's important that, baseball. Obviously, unfortunately, the average age of the baseball fan is continuing to get older. Mm-hmm. And if you're going to minimize the amount of accessibility to go see the game, and ultimately it's going to hurt Major League Baseball in the long run, right? Because it's not a cheap sport to get into.
No.
Right? And, they talk about, the lack of accessibility. It's because it's expensive to do it, right? If you want to go play not collegiate ball, if you want to go play competitive ball, you're spending so much money to do it.
I'll break it down for you if you want me to. Yeah. You're spending $300 on a baseball bat. You're spending $350 on a good baseball glove. Batting gloves are about $50-$60.
Yeah.
It just goes down the line. Cleats, gear, whatever you want.
But the thing is, I think Major League Baseball.
Did you have that listed in your pocket?
No, I still have nice stuff.
Major League Baseball, I think, when it comes down to it, they'll kind of understand it. I think, everything is speculation, so we're not saying exactly what's going to happen. I think you'll see some rookie ball teams get eliminated. Mm-hmm. I think you'll see some teams in certain markets. I think, look, some facilities do have to get upgraded.
Yeah. The Baby Cakes was one of them, if I remember correctly, wasn't it?
It is one. That would not make it today.
That's basically why the Wranglers had
to
leave.
Yeah, exactly.
But where we're going in on this ballpark is not designed for 2020. This ballpark is designed for 2030.
Right.
Because we got the auxiliary clubhouse, which is extra on top of it. We have everything that you're going to need from a training standpoint. We've done our due diligence to make sure, and everyone knew this isn't just something that was a surprise.
Yeah, you can go behind us if you want to.
Everyone knew that this was coming for at least a couple years of what it is. But to the degree, we don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I certainly can't articulate that better than Bob just did. the most important things I think right now are, one, Wichita and this beautiful stadium will not be affected in any way, shape, or form, no matter what happens. I think, like Bob said, it's a negotiation right now between Major League and Minor League Baseball. I can't predict what will happen. Will some teams be eliminated? Will nothing change? I personally have no clue. I know how much these stadiums, I know how much the local communities and some of the ownership have invested into the stadiums and the teams. I know what they mean. I've been in small towns. I've been in some of these smaller single-A stadiums. I see what they mean to those communities. As Bob said, there's a facility issue in some of the lower levels, and there's some other things I think baseball and minor league baseball need to work through. And does that mean getting rid of teams? Perhaps. I can't predict what the next 2 years will bring. I believe that cooler heads will prevail when push comes to shove. I think the local governments will get involved. Again, I think a team up in Vermont or a team out in Montana, these are part of the community, just like we want to be here. We want to be an integral part of this community. Sports is that product that helps do a lot of things, right? Whether it's startup development, whether it's bring people together. We're a microcosm of society in a lot of ways.
Sports have gotten people through a lot of hard times.
You know, I happen to, I hate using the word be fortunate, but during the 9/11 years, I went to Yankee Stadium in those playoff games every day, and there was not another place in the world I could think of that could unite New York and the country and sport. I remember watching on TV that first game back at Shea Stadium, and that Mike Piazza hit that. It's just amazing what sports can do, or the Boston Marathon, tragic bombing, and the way it's sports matters to communities for more than the wins and losses. And will some teams be around in 2 years? I don't think anyone knows right now, but it will not affect pretty much Wichita and AAA baseball. And again, I think cooler heads will prevail, and there's a solution somewhere out there. I think it's about facilities, about travel, about a lot of things. Like, people don't know the grind our players go through, right? It's Bob and I are lucky. We work 70 home games, but the 70 road games, while Bob's out on the sitting out back somewhere enjoying an adult beverage and relaxing, while these players play 140 out of 150 days. It's a grind. I think it's more about that than we need to get rid of teams today. And we'll see what happens, but the good thing for Wichita is it's not going to affect us in any way, shape, or form.
And that's, I think, something that other people need to realize around here too. I've heard some complaints from people about how much the stadium costs and all that. People don't realize that, like, say 20 years when you guys are contract up, if you guys decide to pull up stakes and leave town, we get to keep that stadium. And I mean, if Lawrence Dumont lasted 80 some years, how many more years are we going to get out of that? Thing should last 100.
And more importantly, what else will be around that stadium 15, 20 years from, and I don't mean to keep going back to my previous experiences, but when I started in Wilmington, Delaware, there's a brand new stadium, and there's one bar which you wouldn't let your worst enemy go in. That's how bad it was. Well, now the stadium's 30 years old, but there's an IMAX, there's condos, there's retail shops, there's a W Hotel, there's very few things that could kick off a development like a sports stadium and team. And I think this is, I think the timing is great for Wichita in this last part of the riverfront development area.
This is such a cool part of town. I love this part of town. I should get down here more often.
We should. Well, guys, that's our time, unless anybody has anything special you want to say. No?
I thought we were here to talk fantasy football, Scott.
No. No. You're the only one.
Scotty's team's done.
My team's done. Jeremy's team's done. You're the only one that actually is still in. So kudos to you.
We found that
20 years in the league, I've never won it, so I wouldn't give me too many kudos.
Jeremy's right, though. You just jinxed yourself, because every single time that one of us said something about our team on the show, guess whose team lost?
Actually, Scotty just jinxed himself, because that's not at all what I was going to say. No, we found on this show that talking about your fantasy football team is about as interesting to people as telling them about a dream you had. It's nobody cares about your fantasy football team.
Willing to bet your dream's a lot more interesting.
Oh, I bet it is.
Okay, fine. Well, okay. No fantasy football. Who do you got in the Super Bowl this year?
Oh, wow. That's a great question.
Champion and AFC, NFC.
I am going to go AFC I'm going Kansas City, and not because I just moved to Kansas.
Yeah,
I think it's finally the time. Again, I live near Philly, and I'm not a big fan of the Philly fans. But I think Andy Reid's due, and they haven't peaked, and they haven't been 10-2 yet. I just have a weird feeling there's not that dominant AFC team other than Baltimore, but I think someone will figure Lamar Jackson out. So I'm going to go Kansas City against Seattle.
That's not bad.
And Andy Reid's going to finally get one.
Good grief. All right.
And I did say KC, so come buy some Wind Surge tickets.
Yeah, that's right. There you go. Bob?
Oh, I got San Francisco, Baltimore.
Okay. And who do you got winning?
Oh, San Francisco. I got to go.
Oh, God. You freaking homer. Jeremy?
I think it's going to be Baltimore, San Francisco myself, but I think Baltimore.
And I'm going to take Baltimore and Seattle. Baltimore winning.
Cool.
That's it. Gentlemen.
And I'm a Chiefs fan.
I know, and you're a Chiefs fan.
Post-Super Bowl show. We'll recap.
Yeah, well, right. Yes. Well, guys, thank you so much for letting us come out here. Again, everybody that's watching, that's listening, do us a favor. Come out to the Wind Surge store. I can barely talk. Yeah. And the address again is
608 West Texas
Avenue here in Wichita, Kansas. Come out and buy some stuff. And come say hi to these guys. Obviously, I think I've seen Jarred in here every single time I've come in here. Say hi to him. Thank him for having the team come into town. But other than that, guys, you can check us out at the Unfiltered Sportscast on any podcast app for that matter. Check us out on Facebook as well. You can also follow the Wind Surge on Facebook as well. Yeah. Wichita Wind Surge.
Yeah, Wind Surge ICT on all social media.
Okay, there you go. Fair enough.
And we just want to say thank you to both of you. You guys have been so great to us and the organization and all your support and helping us with the unveil. And to all your listeners, this community's really just open their arms. So we thank you both in this community, and we look forward to the future.
Awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching. Obviously, me, PG Show, we won't do what we normally do.
You can do one. I got one.
Okay. For what it's worth, we ask you to be our advertising. And if you like us, please do us a favor. Tell your friends, tell your family. But if you don't like us,
I hope your proctologist has huge hands.
If you don't like us,
tell your enemies.
All right, guys. Until next time, take that filter off and make it dirty. We'll see you.
I forgot that's
there you go.